So, ayun guys, good afternoon. So, itutuloy na natin yung sa jury question and problems ng statement of the cash flow. So, proceed na tayo sa jury question number 4. Si Ate Casey nyo na ang magtuturo. So, wait lang. Ilipat ko lang siya.
So, ayun, charot.
Ayun.
Number 4 na tayo, no? Question. Ay na ba? Malinaw ba ako? Ay, malinaw yung boses ko, I mean.
Oo. Yes.
Okay. So, here is the question number 4. So, mag-ano kayo, mag-chat lang kayo sa chat box or mag-unmute kayo pag alam niyo yung sagot. So, question number 4, which of the following would be classified as financing activity on a statement of cash flows? So, letter A, declaration and distribution of a share dividend. Letter B, deposit to a bond-seeking fund. Letter C, sale of a loan receivable. And letter D, payment of interest to a creditor. So, ano sa tingin niyo yung tamang sagot? Yung pwede siyang ma-classified as financing activity. Chat niya lang sa chat box kapag alam niya yung sagot. Pwede din sumagot yung mga ate niyo. Ate niyo! Ayun. Kung alam nila yung sagot. So, wala pa rin ba?
Meron nang nag-chat.
Ay, meron na. Letter D. Letter D? So, hindi siya sure. So, meron pa ba kayong ibang sagot? Letter D?
May nag-chat
Letter A. Po? Bakit puro kayo may question mark? Meron pa bang ibang sagot? Magkaiba kayo ng sagot eh.
may isa pang
may
nag-chat.
D, may A. Sino pang gustong mag-entry? May E. So, may letter E si ate yung Irish. Wala pong letter E ate. So, ayan, ibigay ko na yung sagot, no? So, yung tamang sagot dyan is, teka lang. So, yung tamang sagot dito is, pa-next ate, Roma.
Na-next ko na, be.
So, ayan, ang sagot talaga is letter B. Sorry. So, ayan, letter B. Kasi, i-classify muna natin sila isa-isa, no? Para mas malinaw kung bakit naging letter B yung sagot. So, una kasi, sabi, di ba, yung declaration and distribution of share dividends. Ano kasi to? Wala kasing cash na involved dito sa pagdi-declare and distribute. Just nag-distribute ka lang naman ng dividends. Wala namang sinabi na naglabas ka ng pera or may pumasok na pera sa'yo. So, ibig sabihin, it is a non-cash transaction. So, itong letter C naman, loan receivable. So, di ba yung loan receivable, kapag, di ba yung receivable is current asset? And yung current asset is, under siya ng operating activity. That's why, mako-consider natin siya as operating. And letter D, payment of interest to a creditor. So, ito, din siya, operating activity din siya. Kasi, ano ba yun? Basta operating activity itong letter D. And itong letter B kasi, kaya siya masasabing financing kasi deposit to a bond sinking fund. Di ba yung deposit? So, saan ba natin ginagamit tong deposit? Di ba? Sa equity. Di ba yung withdrawals or kaya deposits? So, itong deposits, maka-classify natin siya sa equity and yung equity is under ng financing activity kaya financing activity itong letter B. So, ito yung tamang sagot. So, number 5 is si Ate Roma. Ay, meron pa bang kasunod na ano? Jury question?
Oo, number 5. So, dito, sa number 5, in a statement of cash flows, the cash flows from investing activities section should report letter A, issuance of ordinary shares in exchange for a factory building. Letter B, shared dividends received. Letter C, a major repair to machinery charged to accumulate depreciation. Letter D, the factoring of accounts receivable. So, if alam niyo yung answer, pwede kayong mag-unmute or sa chat box. And syempre, mga ate, if alam niyo din yung sagot, feel free. So, ayun. I-chat nyo na lang if alam niya yung sagot. So, wala pang nag-answer. Sa atin nyo KAYSY, alam niya sagot kasi may copy siya. May copy siya ng PowerPoint.
Hindi ko kayo tutulungan.
Ayun guys. So, if alam niyo yung sagot sa sa chat box. So, ayun, wala pa din. Pa ba nag-chat KAYSY? Ayun na, nabanggit na ni ate nyo KAYSY yung tamang sagot. So, ang sagot dito is letter C. So, kung i-classify natin siya, yung machinery, syempre, nung nabanggit ko to sa definition na ang involved sa investing activities is yung nasa non-current asset and then yung mga long-term assets. Tama ba? Oo. Nasa long-term na assets or transactions. So, itong letter C, kaya letter C yung sagot kasi a major repair to machinery charged to accumulated depreciation. Ito kasing sa issuance of shares in exchange for a factory building, ang in-issue kasi dito is shares, hindi naman yung mismong building or hindi in-acquired yung building. Issuance lang ng shares para sa building. Itong shared dividends naman, ang na-receive mo lang naman is shared dividends, no cash involved. And then dito sa factoring of accounts receivable, syempre, sa accounts receivable, under siya ng current asset, hindi siya under ng non-current asset, which is hindi kasama sa investing activities. So, mag-proceed na tayo sa problem 1. So, dito, sabi niya, Pledis Company reported net income of 450,000 for the year end December 31, 2008. Include in the computation of net income were depreciation expense of 60,000, amortization of patent 32,000, income from an investment in common stock of incorporation, or incorporated, accounted for under the equity method na 48,000, and then amortization of a bond discount na 12,000. And then sabi dito, Pledis also paid an 80,000 dividends during the year. So, punta tayo sa Excel. So, kita na ba yung screen sa Excel? So, i-solve natin siya. So, ang kailangan lang dito or required is the net cash provided by the operating activities. So, dito, ang solution niya is, syempre, net income na net income or profit na 450,000. So, ito siya, 450. And then, depreciation expense na 60,000. And then, kasama din yung amortization ng patent na 32,000. And then, kasama din yung investment or income from investment na 48,000. And then, yung amortization of bonds na 12,000. So, dito, itong method na to, if I'm not mistaken, sa indirect method siya. Kasi may kasama dito yung depreciation expense. Ay yung last time na sample problem na sinolve natin, kasama na sinolve natin is direct method siya. So, hindi niya sinama yung sa depreciation expense. Pero dito, sinama niya. So, syempre, yung profit na 450. So, bakit nga ba sinama yung depreciation expense? So, wait lang. So, yung sa depreciation expense, sinama siya kasi nga, wait. So, yung depreciation expense under indirect method, depreciation is treated as an adjustment to report net income because depreciation reduces the reported net income but does not involve an outflows of cash. So, ina-add siya. Ina-add yung depreciation expense. And then, yung amortization ng patent, ina-add din. Then, yung sa income naman is nililess. So, income from investment. So, nililess dito yan. And then, yung sa amortization naman ng bond discount, kasama din siya kasi, wait lang. Saan na yun? Wait, nawawala siya. So, kasama yung amortization ng bond discount kasi ang sabi dito is the amortization of discount on bonds or notes payable decreased interest expense, but it did not affect the actual cash flows. Thus, it is added back to compute for the actual cash flows for the interest expense. So, ina-add back siya. So ano ang sagot nyo, guys? Pwede nyong i-chat sa bago ko ipakita yung right answer. I-chat or mag-unmute na lang kayo. Ay, sorry. 12,000 pala. Naalis ko. So, dito yung sa total. So, since wala pang nagchat-chat, ipapakita ko na lang. So, syempre, 450 plus 60 plus 32 less 48 plus 12. So, ang sagot is 506,000. Ayun, nagsagot pala si Ina. So, ang sagot is 506,000. So, ito yun. So, move tayo sa problem 2. Si ate nyo, Casey, na ang magtuturo nung sa problem 2. Dito na din ba sa Excel?
So, ayun. Oh. And ano mo na, i-flash mo muna yung sa question. Ay, hindi nandiyan na pala siya. Yan na ba yun?
Parehas lang naman yung nasa Excel tas nasa PowerPoint. So, ito yung nasa PowerPoint. Kita na ba?
Ayan, sa PowerPoint na lang kasi parang mas nakikita ko siya ng malinaw. So, ayan. Problem 2. So, sabi, ABC Go. Go ba talaga to? Had a following information for 20x2. So first, information is acquired 3-month treasury bill for 50,000. Second is acquired equipment with a purchase price of 1 million pesos by paying 20% in cash and issuing a note payable for the balance. There were no payments made on the note during the year. So third is acquired land with fair value of 800,000 by issuing shares with aggregate par value of 600,000. So the excess is credited to share premium. Fourth is extended a 400,000 loan to a director. Fifth is borrowed 320,000 from a bank. Use the cash proceeds as follows. So 200,000 for the additional working capital and 120,000 to settle scrip dividends declared in 20X1. And for the last information, settle an outstanding note payable by issuing shares with aggregate par value of 200,000 pesos. So share premium resulted from the transaction amounted to 70,000. So yung requirement is kailangan nating i-compute yung net cash flows from or used in the investing activities and financing activities. So, okay. I-ano na lang muna natin. I-analyze muna natin sila isa-isa bago tayo pumunta ng Excel. So, isulat nyo na lang kung meron kayong paper dyan, pakisulat na lang yung ma-analyze natin. No? So, for the information 1, sabi acquired 3-month treasury bill for 50,000. So, yung treasury bills is example of cash equivalent. So, ang nangyari dito sa information 1 is bumili ka ng treasury bill for 50,000. Parang, no, ang nangyari dito is wala siyang effect sa cash kasi, di ba, treasury bill is a cash equivalent tapos yung 50,000 is cash. So, parang ang nangyari, naglabas ka ng pera, nagbayad ka ng pera para may pumasok na cash equivalent. So, cash and cash equivalents are connected. So, parang may lumabas pero may pumasok din sa'yo na cash. So, ganun siya. So, ibig sabihin, wala siyang effect itong information 1. So, next is acquired equipment with a purchase price of 1 million. So, sabi, pumili ka naman dito ng equipment. Pero, di ba yung amount niya is 1 million? Pero yung binayaran mo ng na-cash is 20%. So, kunin natin yung 20% ng 1 million tapos yun yung cash na involved dito sa information 2. Tapos yung sabi niya issuing a note payable for the balance. So note payable siya, so babayaran mo siya through note. So ibig sabihin walang cash dyan na involved. Tapos for number 3, acquired land with fair value of 800,000 by issuing shares. So dito naman, bumili ka ng land. Pero ang in-issue mo na pambayad is share. So, ibig sabihin, wala ditong involved na cash. So, it is a non-cash transaction. So, next is extended a 400,000 loan to a director. So, nagbigay ka dito ng proceed kay loan director. So, di ba yung, tawag dito? So, yung loan, yung proceed sa loan is ma-consider natin siya dito as investing. Oo, yan, investing yan. Yung proceeds dyan na binigay niya kay director. And next is borrowed 320,000 from bank. Tapos sabi, doon daw sa 320 na yon, yung ginamit mo daw yung 200,000 pang additional working capital mo. And yung 120,000 is to settle scrip dividends declared. So, parang dalawang transaction yung nangyari dito. I mean, dalawang analyzation ang kailangan natin dito. So, una, itong hiniram mo na 320,000. So, inflow to, under financing. I mean, cash flow, outflow. Outflow siya. Outflow ba? Outflow ba to? Borrowed from a bank. Inflow, sorry. So, ayan. Tapos, Itong yung 200,000, pinang-additional mo sa working capital. So lang yan, parang hindi niya maapektuhan yung cash flow mo. Itong isa, yung 120,000, ito yung merong may effect kasi ginamit mo daw to pang settle ng scrip dividend. So nag-outflow ka dito ng pera. So ang mangyayari doon is parang nahiram ka tapos pinambayad mo tong 120. So ganun yun, itong 200 additional working capital mo lang siya. So last information is to settle an outstanding note payable. So dito, nagsettle ka ng note payable pero ang inisyu mong pambayad is share. So ibig sabihin wala ditong involved na cash. So share na nung ang tawag dito, yung sa Excel. Excel, hindi, yan na pala yung solution. So ayan, yung hindi yung na lang, PowerPoint na lang para mas malaki. Sorry.
Ayan na, Ben, ibalik ko.
So ayan. So ang kailangan nating yung kailangan nating i-compute is investing and financing activity. So dito muna tayo sa investing. So itong cash payment for acquisition of equipment, yung binili mong 1 million kanina pero yung binayaran mo lang doon is 20%. So kukunin lang natin yung 20% ng 1 million which is 200,000. So ayan, so dahil bumili ka, it is a cash outflow. So cash outflow siya ng investing activity. So next is the cash proceed. Yung proceed na binigay mo dun sa loan officer. So ibig sabihin cash outflow din yun kasi palabas sa'yo eh. Binigay mo dun sa loan officer. So 400,000 yun. So yung total nun is 600,000 net cash used in investing activity. So siya, negative. 'Di ba yung negative is cash used? Kasi 'di ba kapag positive ang gagamitin natin is net cash provided. So ito net cash used siya. So for cash flows from financing, so andun yung borrowing, yung sinabi ko kanina na yung sa isang information doon na dalawa yung analyzation na kailangan nating gawin. So una is yung hiniram mo sa bangko. Ibig sabihin pumasok sa'yo. So inflow pala yun, sorry. So inflow siya, 320,000. Tapos, yung 120,000 na ginamit mo na pinang-settle mo ng dividends. So outflow siya sa'yo kasi binayad mo siya. So pag i-less mo yung 120 sa 320, so ang makukuha natin is 200,000 na net cash used in financing activity. So ayun lang sa 3. Ay, 2 pala.
So, ayun. Next is problem 3. So, sabi niya dito, Imara Andam Business Solution had a profit of 320,000 in 2020. During the year, the entity had depreciation expense of 70,000. Accounts receivable increased by 110,000 and accounts payable increased by 50,000. The entity started operations in 2020 and the foreign are the entity's only current assets and current liabilities. Ang required naman dito is the net cash flows from operating activities using the indirect method. So, dito, itong problem na to, nakuha ko to sa book nyo eh. Nasa book to. So, mga second to the last problem to ng cash flows. So, punta tayo sa Excel kasi doon ko nilagay yung computation niya. So, nakikita ba or kailangan ko pang lakihan? So, lakihan na lang natin. Kita na ba? So, ayun. Sabi niya dito, si Amar Andam daw has a profit of 330,000 in 2020. So, syempre, since mayroon siyang profit or net income, so under indirect method, sa unahan siya, ina-add siya. And then, susunod na yung mga adjustments na ginawa. So, this is the indirect method. So, sa during the year daw, the entity had depreciation expense of 70,000. So, since kasama siya sa since indirect method ang gamit natin, kasama yung depreciation expense kahit non-cash transaction siya. Kasi, kita nyo na din naman yung sa example sa book na example ng non-cash ang depreciation expense. So, ang depreciation expense, sabi ko nga kanina is, ina-add back siya. So, i-add natin ang depreciation expense na 70,000. And then, may increase daw ang accounts receivable natin na 110,000. So, syempre kasama yung increase in accounts receivable. Pero dito nililes. Kasi sabi ko nga last discussion, under indirect method, ang increase in current asset is nililes kasi may inverse relationship sila. So, kapag increase ang ang current asset, nililes natin. And then kapag decrease naman ang current asset, ina-add back natin. So dito, since increase in accounts receivable siya, ililes natin siya. And then sabi din dito, we have an increase in accounts payable. So yung accounts payable, ina-add natin siya. So yan lang yung mga kasama sa operating expense, sa operating activity. Bakit yan lang? Kasi dito ay, sabi niya pa dito, yun lang pala yung binigay na transaction. Sorry na. So, ito lang yung kasama sa operating expense. So, isolve na natin siya. So, 330,000 plus 70,000 less 110,000 plus 50,000 is equals to, para mas mabilis. So, it equals to 340,000. O, yun, tama, Ina. 340,000. So, yun. So, proceed na tayo sa problem 4. So, para mas lakihan ko na lang tong sa problem. Kasi andito din yung solution niya, Casey. Wala doon sa, ang tawag doon, wala doon sa, ayun. Kita na ba?
Ayan. Problem 4. Palaki pa, be. Sorry. Malit lang yung mata ko. Joke. So, ayan. Okay na. Thank you. So, ayan, sabi niya. So, the following transactions pertain to the operation of party consultants, an event planning entity owned by Eleanor Tan. The entity had the following transaction during the month. So, number 1 is receive a 180 cash investment from the owner. Number 2, provide 400,000 service on account. 3 is incurred 220,000 pesos of operating expense on account. 4 is collected 320,000 cash from accounts receivable. 5 is allowed a 30,000 cash withdrawal to the owner of the business. 6 is paid 160,000 cash on accounts payable. 7 is perform service for 30,000 pesos cash. And number 8 is paid 12,000 cash for expense. So, ang requirements is i-classify muna natin sila if they are operating, investing, or financing activities or no effect sa statement of cash flow. So, for number 1, sabi receive a 180 So, ayun, tama. Ang bilis niya naman. So, ayun, tama. Financing activity siya kasi kasama dun sa diniscuss ko last discussion natin is kasama sa cash flows from financing activity yung investment from the owner. So, ayun. So, under financing siya. So, number 2, ano sa tingin niyo yung sa number 2? Sabi niya, provide 400,000 service on account. So, ano kaya yung on account? Ano sa tingin niyo yung sagot dyan? So, ayan, sabihin ko na. So, it is non-cash transaction. Kasi wala namang ano dyan eh, wala namang perang pumasok dyan. Nag-render ka ng service in exchange of utang, inutang lang sa'yo. So, ayun. So, ibig sabihin, walang cash na pumasok sa'yo. Hindi niya pa nabayaran eh. So, number 3, incurred 20,000 of operating expense on account. So, on account ulit. So, ibig sabihin, wala na namang cash na involved dyan. So, NA siya. So, ayun. Tapos, number 4, collected 320,000 cash from accounts receivable. So, ayun, tama. Yung operating activity. Kasi, di ba, yung accounts receivable is under
So, ayun guys. Wait lang natin si Ate Casey.
Wait lang. So, ayan, ituloy natin yung number 4. Sabi niya, collected 320,000 cash for accounts receivable. So, tama yung sagot ni kanina, si Diaz. Oo, nakalimutan ko yung pangalan niya. Basta Diaz yung apelyido niya. So, operating activity daw. Kasi, di ba, ulitin ko yung accounts receivable is a current asset and a current asset is nakapaloob sa operating activity. So, ayun. So, next is number 5. Allowed a 30,000 cash withdrawal to the owner of the business. So, dito, merong cash withdrawal na naganap. So, ayun, tama ulit tama kayo. Yung dalawang sumagot, financing activity siya kasi, di ba, withdrawal to the owner of the business. So, withdrawals and equity are under financing activity. So, ayun. Number 6 is, number 6. Ayan. Paid 160,000 cash on accounts payable. So, ano yan? Ayun, tama. Operating activity. Kasi, di ba, accounts payable, ibig sabihin nun, meron kang binili para sa business mo. So, sa pag-operate ng business mo. So, and yung entity's operation is under operating activity. So, ayun. Number 7, perform service for 30,000 cash. So, ano yan? So, it is a operating activity. So, ayan, tama si Ina. Operating activity yan. Kasi, kunwari yung entity mo is service ang pinaprovide niya. So, ibig sabihin, yun yung operation niya. So, operating activity. And number 8, ayan, paid 12,000 cash for cash expense. So, ayan, operating activity. Tama ulit. So, ayan, ngayon, i-plot naman natin sila ngayon para makabuo tayo ng statement of cash flows. So, ulit, gaya nung sabi ko last discussion, huwag natin kakalimutan lagi itong heading. So, ayan, yung title, yung pangalan ng business, tapos sa baba niya is statement of cash flows. And then, for the year ended, yung year nung, kung kailan mag-end yung, yung accounting cycle ng business. So, ayan. So, for operating activities, yung cash flows na doon, na involved doon is una yung transaction 4. So, ayan. So, yung transaction 4 is yung about the, yung na-collect mo na accounts receivable. So, ayan na 320,000. So, it is a cash inflow. Next is yung transaction 6, which is yung nag-perform ka ng service for cash na 30,000. So, inflow ulit yon. Next is yung Number 7, yung nagbayad ka na utang mo. So, it is a outflow of cash na 160,000. And last for the operating expense is, operating activity is yung paid cash for expenses, yung binayaran ng expenses na 12,000. So, kung ito-total natin yan, anong makukuha nating sagot? Is it a net cash provided or net cash used in operating activities? So, pa-compute. Ayan, pwede mo na rin i-compute dyan, Ate Roma. Para mabilis. So, ayan. 178,000. Yung, ano natin, it is a net cash provided kasi positive yung amount niya. So, lipat naman tayo sa investing activities. Wala pala tayong investing activities kasi doon sa classify natin kanina, walang investing activity doon na nabanggit. So, lipat na tayo kaagad sa cash flow ng financing activities. So, yung una doon na transaction under investing activities is yung transaction 1, yung receipt by investment of the owner. Yung naka-receive ka ng doon, investment from owner. So, 180,000. Cash inflow yon sa financing activities. And yung second one is the cash withdrawal, which is yung nasa transaction 5. So, ayan. So, dahil nag-withdraw ka, naglabas ka ng pera, it is a cash outflow. So, ilas natin yung 30,000 sa 180,000. Ang makukuha natin is net cash. Ano kaya? Net cash? Ayan, net cash. Bakit use? Provided. Ata dapat.
Oo, ata. Wait. Inaantok na kasi ako nung Sorry.
Sorry. Hindi, okay lang yan. Net cash provided yan kasi positive amount siya. So, pag-adin natin yung operating plus financing kasi wala naman tayong investing. So, ang makukuha natin is an increase in cash na 328,000. So, ayun. Tapos, yung beginning, wala namang sinabing cash beginning. Cash balance ng beginning. Meron ba? So, walang sinabi. So, ang magiging cash balance natin at the end of the period is still 328,000. So, ayun. Ganun lang. Ganun lang siya kadaling gawin. Oh, taray. So, ayun. Hanggang 4 lang ba tayo? Problem 4? So, ayan. Thank you sa participation.
Oo. Hanggang problem 4 lang tayo. Gusto niyo pa bang magsagot? So, hanggang problem 4 lang yung na-prepare namin. Pero, ayun, thank you for participating. Pero, gusto niyo pa ba? Pwede naman. So, ayun ulit guys. Kung gusto niyo ulit na panoorin to and then yung other previous discussions natin, you can search it on YouTube. So, ang pangalan ng channel is ACP space Group space 16. So, ACP Group 16. So, pa-open ako ng camera guys kasi mag-take tayo ng screenshot bago ko makalimutan. So, yun. Short meeting lang tayo. Tinapos lang talaga namin yung cash flows para next week, another topic na tayo. So, smile na tayo. 1, 2, 3. Yun, isa pa. 1, 2, 3. So, ayun. Anong topic ang gusto nyo sa next topic? Para alam namin kung ano yung i-ready namin na topic for the next record. Anong topic na kayo sa basic accounting. Sa chat na lang guys if ano. Hindi, okay lang ano. Okay lang Raymalin. Kasi biglaan lang din naman. Kagabi lang din namin na pag-decidean na tapusin na. So, okay lang. So, anong next topic na proceed na ba tayo sa chapter 8? Balik na ba tayo ng chapter 8 sa merchandising business? Quiz nyo ng 7 and 8. So, 7, 8. Monday. So naturo na sa inyo yung sa chapter 8. Yung sa cycle. Gusto nyo ba? Sa Wednesday ate, discussion po sa chapter 9. So, tinapos na po hanggang closing. So tapos nyo na hanggang sa closing nitong sa chapter 8. So, gusto nyo pa bang i-topic ulit natin or sa proceed na tayo sa chapter 9. Sabayan natin yung sa nyo. Yung sa topic nyo para sa Wednesday. Syempre, pag i-meet namin kayo ng Wednesday, mas mauuna. So special and combination journal na kayo. Chapter 9. So, mga ading sa chapter 9 na ba or magcha-chapter 8 pa tayo?
Hello po.
Sige. Sige.
Po kasi, yung problem 23 po, yung sinagutan po ninyo nung nakaraang, last week pa po pala yun. Yun po kasi tinapos namin hanggang post-closing na po. So parang napahapyawan lang po yung chapter 8. Pero sabi ni ma'am, quiz na daw po sa Monday ng buo. So baka po sa Wednesday, hindi lang po sure kung babalikan pa yung chapter 8 o chapter 9 na kami.
So, na lang natin. Since napahapyawan lang naman at napahapyawan lang tong sa sa pinaka-closing entry.
Ulitin na lang natin.
Okay lang ba? I-focus natin sa chapter 8 sa Tuesday.
Oo, kasi sa exam nyo, di ba? Magagamit nyo din yan.
Tapos magsagot na lang tayo. Nagsagutan nyo na ba yung mga problem sa book sa chapter 8? Check ko kung may sagot ba yung mga problem sa sa chapter 8. Gusto nyo ba i-send ko para nyo tawag doon ma-review nyo before ng quiz? So, ayun siguro na lang sa chapter 8 na lang tayo sa Tuesday para mas ma-explain siya ng mabuti since napahapyawan lang pala nung last meeting nyo. And then siguro i-provide ko yung ibang answer sa problem sa book para may ma-review kayo para sa quiz nyo sa Monday. So, ayun, kita-kits na lang sa Tuesday, guys. And thank you ulit sa participation. And then, syempre, ayun, see you sa Tuesday. If gusto nyo panoorin yung mga last na video, nasa YouTube siya. So, ayun. Thank you ulit, guys. Pwede na kayong mag-leave para makapagpahinga na din kayo since kaninang morning pa ata may klase yung iba sa inyo. So, ayun. Thank you, guys.
Thank you po.
Yun.
Thank you.
So,
Ayun.
i-end ko